Hey everyone, happy Friday and welcome to Prepare to Go There. My name is Peter Burchfield. I'm the host of this YouTube podcast and I'm also the creator of the Pioneer the Year course. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. It's all about self-leadership and pioneering leadership, which we're going to explain in a little bit. But you know, this year matters and today matters. And I know it's at the time of this recording, April 1st, April Fool's Day. I don't know what kind of pranks you've had or you've been concocting, but you know, this is no prank, people. Quarter two is upon us. This year, 2022, is flying by, and we don't want to be on the laughing end of this joke. You know, there's been an ongoing joke about 2020 and then 2021, as in, you know, 2020 beat us again, 2021, and then now 2020 part two. I don't want to be on the laughing end, the rough side of this year. I want to be on the sunrise side of this year. I want to be creating a brave and bright future. And I know you do too. I know you care about the way you show up every day for the people you care about, for the people you lead. And that's what this conversation is all about. It is helping you lead yourself and stay focused on your future. So if that sounds great, let's dive right in. And we've got a really big conversation for today. And I'm going to continue the theme, which was pioneering leadership. If you did not check out episode 109, it was fire. I'm so thankful for my friend Chris Needham, who is a family man and a pastor and a thought leader and just a really brilliant strategist. He jumped on and he was weighing in on this idea of pioneering leadership, what it is, why it is so important, and how we can embrace pioneering leadership for our teams, our families, our communities, and the projects that we want to create. And so I want to continue that conversation today. We're going to start with the sticky situation that I think all of us find ourselves in from time to time. That's feeling stuck, feeling like we're not really making progress. And then that derails our focus. We get discouraged. We kind of lax a little bit too much. We stop caring and then we stop trying. And then all kinds of things start breaking down at that point. So we're going to really deal with the challenge of how do you actually like get unstuck, right? How do you actually make the most out of your time? And I think learning is a big part of that. I think just staying, giving fuel for your focus is the way I like to describe it. And so that's why I'm excited about nominating this book. It's called Win the Day. It's by Mark Batterson. It is a phenomenal read, and I want to pass it on to you. Had a really cool moment. I actually posted this on my Instagram saying, you know, hey, these are some books I'm really excited about right now. Mark Batterson is a phenomenal communicator. He's a pastor and just an amazing author. He actually replied to that post. I was shocked. He has over 50,000 followers on Instagram, and he was so kind and just, you know, noticed it and kind of gave me a little nod there. And I was so embarrassed because this book that I posted, it actually has a clearance sticker on it, and I didn't want him to think that I didn't value his book. Thankfully, I've gotten many copies of this book for our church community, and then my wife found it and she said, hey, do you want another copy? I said, yes, absolutely. So I didn't know if I was gonna read this book or give it away or whatever, but I started reading it, highlighting it, fell in love with it, and now I want to make sure every one of you check it out. I want to give you a quote from that book, and he says, everything in your past is preparation for something in your future. Y'all, that sounds like Prepare to Go There to me. So this book is definitely going to speak our language, a future-focused community of pioneering leaders. Go check that book out. Let's keep learning and growing together. I want to deal with this challenge. How do we get unstuck? And to do that, we got to answer the question, why do we get stuck in the first place? Have you noticed it's like awkward, but it seems like every year, man, our motivation just drains away, and we start so fired up. We have all these ideas and intentions, and then we find ourselves feeling stuck again and again. I want to give you the simple reason, the straight up facts about why we get stuck every year, and then how to pioneer this one, how to take on this year differently. And here it is. It's very simple. I'm not going to exaggerate it. I'm not going to belabor it longer. The reason we get stuck every year is because we find ourselves in a repeat year cycle. It's true, a repeat year cycle. It's where you are putting out fires day after day. You don't have the internal intentionality, the external flexibility that Chris Needham talked about in the last episode. Instead, you have just kind of this reactive approach to the day. You don't really have that clear direction about what's important and what's possible. And we get in a cycle, a bad cycle. It's a repeat year cycle. And this is where we're just kind of wandering through the day, just kind of going with whatever feels fun at the time. And this creates a horrible habit where we think we can do whatever we want. We think we have all this time, all this freedom. We're like, I can do whatever I want. I can eat whatever food I want. I can stay up as late as I want. I can hang out with whoever I want. I can, just my life, my time, whatever. And that freedom is fake freedom, because these random days come and go, and yet they lead us into the repeat year cycle. And this was a challenge that I experienced years ago. This was something that I had to figure out for myself and my own pioneering leadership journey. And now I found the insights and the strategies that can help me as well as my team and the people that we're leading with to actually get out of the repeat year cycle. So we're not just journaling about the same frustrations every year. We're not just writing the same goals every year. It's not, people have goals every year, but they're often do-over goals from the last year. So how do we break out of the repeat year cycle? We've got to get unstuck. And in order to do that, you're going to need a new approach. You can't approach the year the same way that got you into the repeat year cycle. Instead, you need a new approach, a different approach, a better approach, and I call it pioneering. Pioneering is the way to create and navigate the future, to actually do something different, to make this year unlike any other year. You can't accomplish your calling in your comfort zone. You're going to have to figure out how to pioneer beyond your current capacity. How do you actually break through instead of break down? And how do you tell yourself a better story so that way you stay motivated day by day and quarter by quarter? And so here we are in quarter 2, and we're wondering, man, can I really pioneer this year? I don't even know what happened in January. February was so fast. March, I feel like I was just getting started, and now we're already in quarter two. How am I going to keep up, let alone catch up with my big intentions for the year? And I'm going to share with you 4 ways, 4 skills that you're going to need to have in order to pioneer this year, in order to get unstuck, and in order to make this year unlike any other year. So that way you can lead yourself and lead others into a better future. If you're interested, go ahead and say, yeah, in the chat. Go ahead and put some fire there. And let's keep this conversation rolling. And what I'm really excited about is I'm going to take one step further into the quiz that my wife Sarah Joy and I created. It's called What's Your Pioneering Archetype? And I'm going to explain it in a little bit, but just to kind of tease this out, I want to share the quiz as the on-ramp to teach you how to get unstuck, how to make this year unlike any other. So I'm going to get started with a clip from the recent conversation I had with Chris. He actually took the quiz, and it was fun to see his response to it. So let's check that out. So I'm putting out there in, internet land, digital Wild West, this call for action to emphasize pioneering leadership. I think we need to focus on pioneering leadership. And I made a video, I just published it on my channel, called What is Pioneering Leadership? And, there's different emphasis throughout the years. I think you've had emphasis in your leadership journey. I've had emphasis in my leadership journey. Maybe you'll hear phrases like visionary leadership, organizational leadership, servant leadership. Man, I'm so thankful when the servant leadership talk came through. That was so healthy and helpful. And then we heard about self-leadership, the ability to lead yourself, lead by example. It's a big theme on this podcast. But now I kind of want to bring a new emphasis to the leadership journey, which is pioneering leadership. And I sum it up simply as the ability to navigate and create the future of what you do. I think that's what we need more than anything right now, are leaders who are willing and skilled to navigate the craziness and the crisis that are going on around us, but not be pulled down into that. They're actually going to continue to lead, and they're going to create unity, create alignment, create strategy, create culture, create the things that make a difference. And so I wanted just to interview you first, Chris, because a lot of people don't feel like a pioneering leader to begin with, but everybody can pioneer the year. It's not like some of us wear the badge and others don't, although in the little artwork, you had a literal sheriff's badge on. So maybe you are the exception. But you took a quiz that Sarah Joy and I created called What's Your Pioneering Archetype? We want everyone to take this quiz, everyone to play this game with us. And it doesn't define you, but it does help describe how you approach leadership, work, the future. So kind of take us through your quiz results and kind of share anything you want about your pioneering leadership style, your pioneering archetype, and why you think this is such a big conversation right now.
Yeah, sure. So I did the quiz. I've done a lot of these quizzes before, and sometimes you got to be careful if you're just in a mood or whatever. But I will say, the first thing it gave me was Pathfinder. I did it a couple days later. I got Pathfinder again. And I did it this morning again, just to be sure. This is probably a couple months later, and I got Pathfinder again. So I'd say kudos on the accuracy of the test. It wasn't just subject to just mood. and moment. But yeah, Pathfinder, and I like the names. You got wonder. No matter what on this quiz, you're gonna like the title Peter and Sarah have given you, and so that's really fun. So yeah, I got Pathfinder, which is really cool. I want to say that sounds like the most Pioneer leader of all of them. I guess they're all Pioneer leader, but man, Pathfinder. I mean, you're finding the path, right? And so I think what it kind of got about me and the way that I think is the idea of being kind of macro, but then needing to go down into the micro details when it comes to planning and strategizing and problem solving. And so, you know, I think it makes perfect sense because the Pathfinder, if you're going to be a Pathfinder, if you're kind of going with the metaphor of exploring uncharted terrain, you know, like our background here, you're going to, first of all, have to be able to read a map. That's kind of the macro, right? You're going to have to be able to see the big picture, but then you're going to eventually just have to pick up the machete and take one step at a time and chop your way where you're trying to go. And then also when you're looking at that map, you're going to have to be able to kind of operate in both those areas. You know, you're going to look at a map. You can't just see, you know, I'm trying to get from point A to point B. Let's go as the crow flies, right? Let's just go straight there. That's going to put you through cliffs and canyons and mountains. And so you're going to have the ability to see the right pathway, even if it's not the direct pathway. And you're going to have to look at that terrain and know what it looks like to go through it in the details, right? So when you're sitting with the planning meeting with your team, and you're kicking the ball around ideas, ways to solve problems, your brain has to be able to see the big picture. But at the same time, as you discuss ideas, you've got to have this intuition of understanding what those details are going to look like when they actually play out, and kind of say, no, you know, that seems like a good idea, but I don't think that's going to work that way. So yeah, I think that was really, really helpful. I enjoyed it. Kind of helps you understand yourself. And if there's anything that's valuable in leadership, it's knowing yourself and understanding who you are and how you tick and what works and what doesn't work, you know? So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, amazing. So that really gets into the first point, which is, guys, you really can pioneer the year. It doesn't have to go the way it's always gone. You don't have to just go through that repeat year cycle. You can get away from the random days with no internal direction based on your values and your vision and your mission, and you can chart a new course that others are going to be grateful for after you pave that way. So I'm doing this conversation, I'm throwing out this quiz because I want to get your attention. I want you to realize that the thing that is being emphasized right now in the leadership space is pioneering leadership. Why? Because that's what we need. I mean, I'm thankful for organizational leadership. I'm thankful for servant leadership. I'm thankful for self-leadership. This whole podcast is about self-leadership, learning how to lead yourself and stay focused on your future. But we're going to have to personalize pioneering leadership because it's not fun. It's not glamorous. People don't, give you all the accolades until like after you're long gone, right? The people we celebrate as, oh, they were a pioneer in this industry or they made history. I mean, they weren't getting that love when they were leading. They made a choice to be different, to do something different, and then that's what made a difference. And you don't even know whether you're lost or leading for a while. You just have to have the conviction in that, internal compass to trust that you really are making a difference, going the distance. And that's why I think pioneering leaders need a lot of encouragement. And you may not even identify as a pioneer right now. You may not think you're doing something new or needed. You may not think that you're making a difference. You may not think that the work you're creating and the challenges you're navigating are actually going to scale into some sort of cultural investment in the future. But it really is. You really are making a difference. Whether you're a college student that's just trying to level up without getting bogged down with so much debt, whether you're an empowering parent who wants to inspire a legacy, or maybe you're a ministry leader that is still staying steady in a world of, compromise and convenience. Maybe you're, a solopreneur. Maybe you're a content creator. Maybe you're just excited about seeing where technology and faith and culture are going to go in the next few years, and you want to be on the front lines, and you want to be out there actually being a change agent and being a cultural catalyst. Man, there are so many people out there that are pioneering, and we don't even know them yet. We don't know their stories. We don't know their struggles, and yet here they are day by day. They're pioneering. And so I want you to be in that community. I want you to be in this conversation. I want you to really embrace and wear it, whether, you're wearing it like me with this hat on. You're saying, I really feel like I am here to pioneer. I'm here to pioneer a better future for my family. I'm here to pioneer a better future for my team, my organization. I'm here to pioneer a better future for the next generation. I'm here to be a part of the change, the solution, the hope that is waiting on us. And so that's what this is going to do. I know it sounds pretty big and audacious to think that just a podcast is going to be a part of that. I'm not the only one who's on this team. There's so many amazing thought leaders and content creators and just people that are really in the trenches, and they're a voice of hope and encouragement. And that's what I want to do too. I want to encourage you to pioneer this year. Don't get stuck. Don't get distracted, for sure. Instead, pioneer this year. I want to tell a quick story. Long story short, I basically broke my wife's phone, and I'm going to just own it. I'm just going to put myself out there. I was the last person who used it when it was working, and then for some reason after me, it wasn't working. So I don't know how to do that math, but I guess I broke it somehow. And so the screen went down on her phone. It's still working, it's functioning, but the screen's just like wigging out. And so the next day hits, and her phone alarm goes off, to wake up in the morning. And I'm trying to be a supportive husband, and so I'm like, I'm going to turn that alarm off. And thankfully my wife is romanticizing the situation. She says I didn't break it, but I'll own up to it. I get it. And this alarm goes off, and I'm working already at this point. And so I'm thinking, I just got to turn this thing off. So I'm just clicking every button I can think of. I'm just imagining what to do. And so I'm just trying to get this thing off. Well, unfortunately, I accidentally called the emergency contact on her phone, set off the emergency alarm on that thing, and I was so embarrassed. I mean, it was embarrassing. I just accidentally, called an ambulance on us or something. And so I kid you not, it was literally like 2 or 3 hours later until I realized it's all good. It's fine. Nobody's coming. It's all been resolved. I didn't know. And I still don't know what happened or how it got resolved, but I do know the feeling of just being so paralyzed, with the little mental movie I was playing in my head, which is all the fire trucks coming at our house and the ambulance coming towards us, and then the police officers, breaking in, saying, who did this? Who made the emergency contact alert system thingy-majig? And then I was going to have to own up and say, sorry, it was me. I broke my wife's phone, and now I don't know how to operate a smartphone. I mean, come on. Is it just for smart people? And so I was pretty worked up thinking about it. 2 or 3 hours went by until I realized it's all good, man. And I'm telling you, that's how we get stuck. That's how we entertain this repeat year cycle. It's when we've got all of this, stuff going on in our head that's not even real. I mean, we're painting all of these pictures. We're, the star in these apocalyptic movies, doomsday movies, thinking that we're feeling this sense of urgency and emergency, and that's all we focus on. We're just putting out these fires, and then we're slowly wasting time and realizing we're in a repeat year cycle. So what I had to do was kind of counterproductive. I had to get focused on the work at hand. I shouldn't be pulled in to all of the crisis and the craziness that I was projecting. But I said, no, there's actually real priorities to focus on today. Hey, it was unwanted, it was unexpected, but I'm going to resolve that externally, internally, so that way I can stay focused on the future. And that's what I hope this conversation does. The quiz is designed to get your attention. It's designed to help you realize that you have the strengths you need right now to pioneer the year. You have a contribution that's going to make the future better and make your team better, and not just bitter and offended and weirded out by all the stuff that's breaking down. You and I have to make a choice. Are we going to step up when we're called upon? Are we going to step in when there's a vacuum of leadership? Or are we going to just wander around and go through another repeat year cycle? So I'm going to introduce the 4 pioneering archetypes in the quiz. What's your pioneering archetype? And these are the 4 styles of pioneering leadership that we've identified on this leadership journey. I'm sure there's probably others. And this quiz is not designed to, be like a personality test. It's not supposed to define you, but it can help start the conversation about how you're going to approach the future differently with a pioneering approach and a pioneering mindset. So what are these 4 styles? I'm going to go through them real quick, and then we'll go back through them. The first one is the explorer. And the explorer is, just such an inspirational pioneering leader. They have this creative edge, and they're always out there. They're putting themselves out there on the fringes to figure out what's new, what's needed. They're willing to connect with other people, to collaborate well with other people. The explorer is always coming back with a great story or a great find. And the explorer is the one who's always pushing the team further into innovation. And their creativity really inspires the future and the team that's going for it. The next one is the Pathfinder. Pathfinder is that strategic thinker, the strategic edge that every team is going to need in order to navigate and create the future of what you do. Whatever your industry is, whether you're in a business or a nonprofit, whether you're working with a small group, or whether you're thinking about a multi-million, billion-dollar business, Pathfinders are so essential because they are the strategic thought leaders that are able to navigate both the macro and the micro challenges that you're going to face. Pathfinders figure out how to translate all of the wilderness of data out there and experiences and really conjectures, and then actually put it into actionable understanding for others. Without the Pathfinder, the team's not working on anything that's going to make a difference in the future. The Homesteader is the 3rd pioneering leadership archetype. I love Homesteaders because they really bring resiliency and stability to the team. Homesteader is that make it happen kind of leader where they don't need a lot of fluff. They don't need a lot of attention. They know how to dig their heels in the ground and transform the environment around them. wow, if that doesn't sound like an amazing leader, then I don't know what you're thinking, because we need people that will go into a barren situation and create abundance out of it. And, one of their strengths is their resourcefulness, but also their relational approach to tackle challenges. So homesteaders are really great. And then the last one, the fourth pioneering leadership archetype, is the Trailblazer. Man, when I grow up, I want to be a Trailblazer, because the Trailblazer is probably the most empowering of the four. They are team players, team builders, and they're all about being a champion of where the team needs to go and actually raising up other leaders to continue in that direction. And so all of these have strengths and contributions. They all have unique things that you need to understand if you're going to break out of the repeat year cycle. If you're going to combat the random days that lead to repeat years, you're going to have to think like a pioneer this year. You're going to have to navigate and create the future of what you do. You can't get paralyzed with this emergency attitude, right? That everything is an emergency and everything is horrible and everything is going to go down and you're going to get called out and it's going to be embarrassing. And even if there is a real emergency, that's not how you handle one. You've got to figure out, how are you going to navigate and create the next day? How are you going to navigate and create the next week? How are you going to navigate and create the next month and quarter and year? How are we going to navigate and create this year to be better than we found it? So I actually want to go back through these 4 pioneering archetypes and just share some lessons that we have learned through our coaching. This is part of what I do. I love building community here. That's why I'm committed to show up on the live stream and not just put out, videos. I'm showing up for you. I want you to show up for you too. I want you to make the investment in your leadership, because it's going to be a permanent investment regardless of what happens next. It's a permanent investment that's going to serve you, your family, your team, and beyond. And so I get to do coaching like this. I also created a course called Pioneer the Year, and I use this as the foundation, really the framework for all of the coaching that I do with pioneering leaders. And so these are some of the lessons that I've learned from my interactions with amazing pioneering leaders. They're pioneering in the music industry, the new media industry. They're pioneering in ministry and missions. They're pioneering on the family front, education side. These are pioneering leaders that are game-changing, and they inspire me. So I want to just pass on some of their lessons to you. The first one about the explorer is, you've got to find the future before the past finds you. Hello, you've got to find the future before the past finds you. And there's this mindset where, you could just be like an ostrich, keep your head in the sand, and think that all this stuff that's happening out there isn't going to find its way to where you are. Instead, the explorer goes on offense. The explorer is not playing defense. The explorer says, we've got to find the future before the past finds us. We've got to go find the innovation, go find the creativity, go find the opportunities, go learn, go meet new people. And I think all of us, whether we are really wired that way, bent that way, we can learn from explorers. Hey, if you're an explorer, I'm sure you're probably really creative. You're in a bunch of projects already because you like starting stuff. You like going places. You like hanging out with people that are making things happen. And I would just encourage you, keep going, keep exploring, keep learning, keep having those conversations, and don't get discouraged if people don't understand where you're coming from, because they literally haven't been where you've been. And so you're going to have to inspire them, not require them to go into these new fields of thought, new fields in the future. Explorers teach us, go find the future before the past finds you. The Pathfinder, I I would identify with the Pathfinders probably the most. Pathfinders are the ones who are willing to find a way before others are willing to go that way. And I think that's where the Pathfinders really succeed. They are working in a very diligent way to create systems, to create culture, to create new roads by the time that they are needed, not the time that they are accepted. And so Pathfinders are really futuristic in the way that they say, hey, I see trends going this way, but I also see a trajectory that we can get ahead of. And you're going to have to commit before other people do. You're going to have to actually build the system, build the course, create that community, start that foundation or that fund. You're going to have to commit to the future before other people are willing to follow you there. And Pathfinders need to be encouraged that you being willing to commit before other people do. You become the proof of concept. People aren't going that direction because they understand all of the nuances that you have been going through. Not even that they see all the benefits that you can kind of put together in your Sherlock Holmes way, where he's got the string and he's connecting all the dots and he's like this and this and this and this and therefore that, and a lot of people aren't making those jumps the way you do. But the reason they're going to follow you into this new direction is not because they can follow you, but because they want to follow you. Let me try to say this again. It's not because they understand all of the complexity that you've been going through. It's because they understand you are trustworthy. You are a worthy leader. You're a thought leader. And when you say this is where we need to go next, people, they want to be a part of it. And so you're going to have to steward that trust. You're going to have to develop that confidence in them by being the proof of concept for them. Pathfinders are amazing. Let's learn from them and commit before others are willing to, so that way we get there ready in time. We show up ready. Homesteaders, wow, y'all are amazing. I actually am privileged to know some homesteaders in the metaphorical sense and in the literal sense, and you guys inspire me. But I want to talk about the pioneering leadership archetype, the homesteader, not necessarily the literal kind, but the group that can transform an environment. Those of you that you are committed to be resourceful and relational to bring stability into your environment. And man, you've got to have people that are not going to bail, but they are going to put in the work to make things better. Don't bail, make things better. That's what a homesteader can do. A homesteader is reaching in to find the resources and the resilience, and then they give out because they don't think in scarcity. They are actually creating abundance for others around them. Man, if that is a signature strength that all leaders are going to need to have going into the future, it is to think like a homesteader. And there's, like I said, they have a relational edge to the way they lead. And, whether it's like rallying people together and empowering them with chores or working on bigger projects together, the homesteading mindset is a communal mindset. And that's why I'm inspired by these kind of pioneering leaders. Let's learn from them. Don't bail on your responsibilities. Don't bail on your relationships, but instead commit to make them better. All right, then the Trailblazer. The Trailblazer is the team builder, the champion of other leaders. They really have mission on their mind. They are mission-minded leaders. They are going to go whether you go with them or not. They are going to, like John Maxwell says, know the way, go the way, show the way. And what I love about Trailblazers is they are committed to accomplish the mission and they are willing to empower others in order to do it. They are so given over to the mission that they don't care if they are the one who are leading or not. They want to lead so that way others will multiply the mission. And we've got to have that mindset as well. Are we willing to multiply the mission? Are we willing to build teams? And so many pioneering leaders start as solopreneurs. They start as lone leaders, so to speak, but it doesn't mean that they are isolated, and it doesn't mean that they identify as a lone ranger, as a lone leader. In fact, that's one of the challenges that previous iterations of leadership have struggled with. But now I'm telling you, there is a new emerging model of leadership, and you can be totally empowered as an individual and not obsessed with your ego or your logo, because you are motivated by a mission that says we have to go regardless of who's with us or who's not. And that is an infectious, it is a passionate, contagious culture of courage and commitment. And then the Trailblazer says, I'm not just going to go, but as we go, I'm going to coach you. I'm going to empower you so that way we can stay on mission together. Man, this is so dynamite to see pioneering leaders in action. I've seen pioneering leaders operate in my own life and in history through study, through experience, through exposure. And to see pioneering leadership take the focus in this kind of chapter of our lives, it is really encouraging. I want to encourage you. You don't have to go through this year with a repeat year mindset. You don't have to get stuck in a repeat year cycle. You really can pioneer this year, but you're going to have to take on a pioneering approach like these. And so I want to give you the call to action. You're kind of thinking, maybe I'm this or maybe I'm that, but really you're not going to know until you take the quiz. So don't assume which pioneering archetype you have. Instead, take the quiz. You can do it a few ways. The first way is there's going to be a link at the bottom of this video with the show notes. Just click that link and take this fast quiz so that way you can get immediate results. You can see exactly which pioneering archetype you are. And then what's great is when you find out what pioneering archetype you are, keep scrolling down the page, because it's not just the name, but it's actual coaching. There's an actual written coaching write-up for you. There's a summary and coaching steps that you can take. I went through each of these 4 archetypes and created an action plan for you for free. And so take advantage of this offer while it still lasts. Figure out what your pioneering leadership archetype is so that way you can get unstuck, you can make the most of quarter 2, and you can absolutely pioneer this year. And that's really the inspiration that I'm bringing into quarter 2, is not what I can do by myself, but what we can do together. And I'm just thinking, what would it be like if you had a elite level team of pioneering leaders who are not going to be, territorial, but they're going to take new territory together because they're operating as a community, as a team, or as a family. And they've learned how to embrace their own strengths without getting stuck on each other's differences. They're going to focus on making a difference instead. And so that's why I want to tell you that the thing that pioneering leaders are going to bring is a collaborative approach to take new territory together. And that's why you want to take this quiz. That's why you want to share this quiz with your team, because it's just going to get their attention. It's going to start a conversation that you can work on your culture with again and again. And it really is going to speak to the work that we do to pioneer the year. And that's why I created the course Pioneer the Year. It is a digital course that you can find at pioneertheyear.com, and it's going to guide you just like we're in a coaching conversation like this. You're going to be learning the insights and the strategies that you need to turn the repeat years into new frontiers. You're going to break out of random days. You're going to break out of the repeat year cycle. You're not going to be writing down the same frustrations year after year. You're going to have new frustrations because you are leveling up again and again, and you'll be ready to take on those challenges year by year because you know what it takes to grow your capacity, to stay the course, and to grow in community with other pioneer thinkers. And so I want you to take the free quiz, have that conversation, get that coaching, and then let it lead you into your own pioneering journey this year. And I would love to help you on your pioneering journey so that way you can be better prepared and more present for the future that's waiting on you. All right, I think that is it for now. I do want to respond to questions. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in. Speak now or hold your peace for a week. And in the meantime, I'm going to see what other slides I have for you. All right, that's it. Take the quiz, everybody. Let's go on quarter 2 together. I'm so excited about the next 3 months. I'm so excited about all the work that we get to do. And I want to help you. I want to help you with these live streams, with this YouTube podcast. And now I've got a really big announcement for you. It's that Prepare to Go There is now an audio podcast as well. That's right. You can find the audio of Prepare to Go There on Spotify, on Apple, and pretty much wherever you listen to your podcasts. And this is going to be a game changer for so many of you because you want that self-leadership coaching, but you're in the car, you're working out, and checking this out on YouTube is not optimal for you. I get it, and I want to give all of this free self-leadership coaching to you in a new format so that way you can continue to level up day by day and year by year. Thank you for supporting this YouTube podcast. Thank you for supporting this leadership community. Thank you for sharing this content with your teams and your friends, and let's all pioneer the year together. You know, we're all going after different front lines. We're all in different fields of life, and yet we're in this together. And that's how we all win, when we're supporting each other and serving the leadership potential in each of us. I believe it's going to make the future better for all of us. Thank you again for all that you do. And I just want to finish with a just an encouragement for you. And here's my encouragement going into I'm so excited. Let me share it again. Here's my encouragement for you going into quarter 2. It's that you don't have to start over. You really can pioneer this year if you're willing to start again. And you may say, man, I had all these big goals and I had these, big plans, but they're kind of falling off. And I feel like I'm breaking down, not breaking through. I want to let you know that we were never going to take credit for this year anyways, right? So instead, let's humble ourselves again and let's start again so that way we can keep making progress without starting over. Sometimes we think that the only way to get out of the situation we're in is to be super drastic and to do something out of character, or to, blow up everything that we've done that was good as if it wasn't good at all. But you need to have some perspective. You need to be grateful for the growth you've already experienced, so that way you start again without starting over. And so whether it's reading a book or working out or thinking differently about your health or re-engaging relationships and responsibilities with a little more empathy and a new commitment to empowerment, I want you to start again without the desperation of feeling like you have to start over. Just recommit, and you will be shocked to see how you jump right back in to all that momentum you started with. So have an awesome weekend. Make the commitment to put 30 minutes of planning into your next 7 days. Have a future Friday, and I will see you again for another round of Prepare to Go There. Remember, I want you to remember this. You're going places. I'm here for you, but you got to prepare to go there. So put in the work, and I'll see you again real soon.